What is up, all forms of social media? James, Joseph, Edward, Jessberger Jr., but please call me Jimmy for short. Today we're doing something different that I haven't really opened up before on my channel, but it's something that is crucial and it's something that has been in my life for a very long time. And I thought I'd open up about this because I know growing up I had a lot of questions about things, and I know I want people to answer my questions. So let's get straight into this and let's talk about how bad my ears actually are. So what spawned this video? If you did not know and you're not following me on social media, I mostly post a lot of my vloggy stuff on TikTok, even though it's supposed to be the opposite, I guess, for that. But on TikTok, I've been talking about my weight loss journey and how I've been doing in life and how running is going and my eating habits. But on top of that, this past week, for the past about 10 days, I randomly got an ear infection again, and I went into the doctors, and I have medication up until tomorrow, well, antibiotic up until tomorrow, and then that'll be the end of the 10 days. The reason why this video spawned now is because throughout my entire life, and a lot of people think I'm joking when I say this, growing up as a kid, I had a lot of ear infections. I had a lot of weird stories with my ears, having like ear issues, ear problems, and I just wanted to kind of like break down some misnomers and such like that, because there have been so many friends. The two main things I've gotten over the past couple weeks are like, wow, do you like are both your ears infected? Like, are both of them infected at the same time? Like, is one infected and then the other one gets infected? No, it doesn't necessarily work like that, even though I've had both my ears infected at the same time before. It's mostly one ear that gets really, really bad for me, and that actually brings up my second point. I had a random person, I'll say for now, ask me, well, are you still like doing things around the house? Like, is your ear that, like, usually when I get an ear infection, it's just when my throat's irritated and my stuffy nose and blah blah, and they just thought I had congestion. And the crazy part is, my ear infections, I'm not even joking, the first 4 days, when I woke up on the last Saturday and my right ear was completely numb, I knew for the next 4 days I was going to be laid up in bed, just because the ear pain gets so bad for me for some reason. I genuinely, to this day, don't really know why it's that bad, but I do have some answers on why things happen like that. Now, for those of you who are wondering what kind of ear infection I have, because there are multiple ear infections as I've learned throughout the years, this was more of a swimmer's ear infection, which completely makes sense because I've been working out a ton, I've been sweating, the sweat has been going into my ears, I've been jumping into the pool. One night I did not clean, I know specifically the night before I went to bed and woke up with a numb ear. I know I did not clean my ears as well as I usually do. So I thought I'd just open up about this and kind of go from the beginning and kind of see what you guys think, and hopefully I help somebody out there. If not, then it's just for my own joy, I guess, and to get a story out there that I've always wanted to tell. Ever since, I would say the youngest I can remember is maybe like kindergarten, I used to almost every year up until about high school, I would get ear infections, like sometimes even 2 of them a year, whether it was from swimmer's ear, whether it was just from sickness. Like, you can be sick and then get an ear infection from it, or whether it was just like regular like dirtiness of like my ear. And I've had this thing that I need to clear up, and that I don't think a lot of people understand. You can clean your ears a ton, and they will still be like, you can still clean them too much and they'll be dirty clean, or you can clean them so much that you would irritate them, which I've gotten plenty of times. Growing up, a lot of people didn't believe this about me either. I had very strong OCD tendencies. I still have not been tested, so I like to say it like that, but I would shower anywhere from like 2 to 3 times a day as a kid. The other thing I used to do is every time I would eat and then we were going to go out, I would shower because I feel like I was disgusting before we went out. Yeah, and just growing up with them, they were horrible. They were seriously bad ear infections. And if you ask me from a scale from 1 to 10, how were most of my ear infections on a pain scale, I would say they were definitely anywhere from a 7 to an 8. In the beginning, at least, they were horrible. The other thing that was weird about my ears was that I would get pimples and cysts not only on the inner side of my ear, but I would get them like around the ear hole on the inside of my ear. And I also would get pimples and cysts on my earlobes. Now, if you know me pretty well, or if you're just looking at my ears now, I do have gauges in my ears, and there's actually a reason why I got the gauges, and I'll go more into a story later on with like my gauge story. And if you want to gauge your ears, this is what I would say to you. Is my phone going off? After my senior year of high school, I decided to because I've had my ear pierced before. And let me just state this, because I know a ton of people will go, well, Jimmy, you can get infections from like cysts. You can get infections from piercing your ear the wrong way. Let me just put this out there. I have had cysts and pimples in my ears even before I ever thought about getting my ears pierced or my gauges done. So anybody who goes, well, you could have ruptured a cyst and it could have grown and blah, blah, blah. Yes, I do not deny the fact that afterwards getting my ears pierced or gauged, it might have affected it. But beforehand, I already had them. So there was nothing really for me to lose. I did gauge my ears after my senior year of high school, the summer going into my freshman year of college. And I had them for about, I think, a year or two. And then that's a long story of like, I got them not closed. They closed by themselves. I went up to a 2 or a 0 where I'm at now, and they closed naturally. So I'm kind of past the point now, and I want my gauges anyway. So that's why I have them. But I was getting really bad cyst infections and like puffy cysts and like cysts in my earlobe, out of my earlobe, behind my earlobe, like pimples all over the place. And I just took it upon myself. I had so many ear issues as it was, and I love the way that gauges look and stuff like that. And I just wanted spirals and talons and all that. I just decided to get my ears gauged. Like, I knew it was going to happen again anyway. So on top of that, I had pimples around my earlobe. I had pimples and cysts around my earlobes. I had pimples and cysts around the inner ear. I had I had pimples and cysts all on the inside of my ear, and I just always had ear issues, whether I cleaned them too much or not enough, or I didn't mess with them, or they were too sweaty, or if I worked out, or just everything. You know, I just deal with it all. And people truly didn't understand. Whenever I got an ear infection, it would hurt. Like this past week, I had the ear infection on Saturday. On Sunday through, I would say, at least 2 days ago. So what is it today? Today's now Monday. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I would say Monday through Friday, I was laid up on the couch hurting just from an ear infection. If I had stuff that I needed to go to with that ear infection, I just kind of sucked it up and I went. And here's how bad the ear infection was, by the way. I went up to urgent care. And I showed the doctor, and obviously they had to stick the scope up your ear. She told me that the ear infection was so bad that she could not see my eardrum, which, first of all, that is a bad sign. Second off, usually they give you ear drops or ear medication to stick down your ear. I've dealt with it so many years now. I know how to work it. I know how to do it. I know how to use the gauze and the cotton balls and all that, and the tape and the medical tape and all that. She said my ears were so swollen. My ear was so swollen that she could not prescribe me drops because they would not fit into my ear hole. So I had to do a by the mouth oral prescription again, or antibiotic, and I've done it before. They fucking suck. They're huge and they taste horrible. Don't take that out of context, but that's what I had to fucking deal with. I have one more day left, and my ear is still not getting 100% better. It was better the other day ago, and now it's just not feeling great again. It's kind of stuffed up again. So I really hope it's just the fluid buildup and it's going to leak out eventually. The pain is still kind of there. It's at a 1. It was at a 0 the other day, but now it's at a 1. So hopefully I didn't mess something up, or if it's just whatever. So the last thing I'll say about my ears are, before I go into like how do I take care of my ears and how would I prescribe somebody else to help their ears. Growing up, I feel like I'm very grateful and I'm very lucky. I feel like a lot of my senses have been like not messed with or tampered with too much. The only sense I can say that I have fucked up royally for my body are my ears. For some strange reason, my vision has always been 20/20. I've been able to smell things pretty well, taste things pretty well. From what I can tell, like I've never been truly tested on things. I started out as a drummer in 7th grade of my schooling. and I would play drums in a closed room, like horribly closed, and like all the sounds would just bounce off and go into my ears. I was in rock bands. I would blare music in my ears. I loved a certain styles of music at a certain point. And even at performances, like even if it's for a choir, if you're with a ton of people and they're singing loud notes around you, it's going to affect your ears. It's going to affect how you do things. I just recommend to all people, if you see somebody with headphones on, or if you see somebody with those giant soundproof earbuds and stuff like that, I think genuinely now, if I went to a concert, I would be one of those people wearing, because I don't want to damage my ears anymore. I am a musician, I am a performance arts person, and I really do need my fucking ears. There's that age-old question, thankfully, or, you know, gratefully, if you don't have to deal with like a hearing deficiency or, you know, eye seeing and such like that, if you're blind or if you're deaf. For years, I've said to myself, man, if I lost my sight, I would feel horrible. Like, I really don't want to lose my sight. And this is the first ear infection in a while where I've been like more mature in my life, and I've been an adult throughout this process. And I lost one of my ears for hearing for like at least 5 days. Like, my ear was completely stuffed. I could not hear a single thing out of it. And with my job, with my performance background, and who I am as a person, having one ear, even just one ear at a time, was fucking difficult. I can't imagine continuing my life without two ears, like without both of my hearing. So I give kudos to the deaf community, to anybody who deals with hearing impairments, who ever deals with any kind of sense impairment, because I have been truly blessed and truly grateful through all this. And it sucks that now I got to even deal with 1/10 of what people deal with, you know? It actually gave me a new kind of perspective to learn more sign language. I do know a little bit of sign language, but I'm not fluent. Not fluent at all. So my last topic on this video, as I go into my tangents as usual, is how do I take care of my ears now? For a while, and I'm actually going to start it back up again, every time I jump into a pool or I go into the shower now, I'm going to just start it up. I got some nice, what are they called? Earplugs. I got swimmer's earplugs. I will now be wearing, which is a little, whatever you want to call it, it's a little stupid, but I will be wearing earplugs every time I get near water, just because I don't want to fucking deal with this anymore. It's the worst pain. It's the worst thing I deal with in my life. That's reoccurring, I should say. The other way I take care of my ears now are, I really do, when I'm drumming or when I'm doing any form of loud activity, I try and wear any form of noise canceling headphones. These are the Audio-Technica soundproofing headphones. They're not the highest quality I would have for headphones, but they do the job well when I'm drumming and I'm just drumming by myself. The only thing I can say that I genuinely don't do well, and it's a vice, I have a hard time hearing music. So I will bass boost the music, or I will sound boost the music. I'll turn the gain up on a lot of my drum tracks because I can't hear the music through my drums sometimes. Which is horrible to do. The other thing I really started doing is, especially with my gauges, I already started doing this when I got my gauges, was I clean my ears very well without going too much into the ear hole now. They say this, and I will preach this to the end of my days: try not to use Q-tips if you don't have to. Today, I specifically had to, because there was so much gunk in my right ear that I had to do it, but sometimes I could push the stuff too much, you know, too much into your ear than it is out of your ear. The other thing is, if you are going to clean your ears, I would not throw tons of water on your ears. Like, I don't even clean my ears in the shower anymore. I just take like a wet wipe or a cleaning wipe, and I'll just like literally, you know, nicely kind of scrub around my ears and such like that. When I'm in the shower though, I will take the soap, I will clean my gauge hole, and I will clean the back of my ears, but anything on the inside, I don't even want close to my freaking ear hole anymore, because I've dealt with way too much. For those of you who are wondering, I don't know how the pimple stopped on my ear, inner ear, on the inside of my ear, or on my earlobe. I have no idea. I kind of understand with my gauge how it stopped, but I don't know for the inside of my ear. I can't really help with that. Maybe it was just a puberty thing, and like, my puberty versus like my sweat glands back then. I don't know what changed about me, because your skin does change. It starts to get older and starts to get better with certain things. And yeah, I know I'm not the greatest person to talk about this. I'm not a medical person for, your ear, nose, and throat doctor. That's another thing I should say too. Actually, that is the thing I always promote. I always promote. If you ever have an issue, if you ever have a problem, if you don't think something's right and you have a gut feeling about it, please go and see urgent care, or please go and see your primary doctor, or even go to urgent care. Or even go to the ER if you can. There have been plenty of times in my life where I just have this gut feeling, and the times that I don't go with my gut feeling, which is very few now, I fucked up my body even more than I had to. And this is one of those things where I know if I would have not gone to the doctor, I would have fucked up my ear even more. So please, if your body knows best. If your body is telling you not to do something or to do something, you should try it. The also last thing I will say, as I'm touching my goddamn ear, because there's so much gunk in it, is don't be afraid to take time off to take care of yourself. I was in my running. I was running for months on end now. I was lifting for the past like 3 to 4 weeks before this all happened. And I didn't change my diet. Like, my diet's all the same. Like, I'm still staying at the same weight, which is great. But don't be afraid to, like, not work out. Don't be afraid to, like, not live your life, or to, put things on hold. Because I know if I would have started running the day after I got the antibiotics, I probably would have fucked my ear up even more. So I hope no one's alone out there now. I hope people can watch this video and truly, even if it's not an ear thing for you, if it's just like you deal with something different that you know that other people don't deal with, like, have some closure on like being a human being and having things that aren't essentially natural to everybody. The other thing I noticed was a huge thing that I started noticing out in person. You do not know somebody else's story. Like, if you see somebody walking around with those noise canceling headphones, you can't say that they're stupid, they're dumb, anything like that, because they had their own stories and they had their own reasons for doing things. I went out to a orientation thing for a work performance job, and as I'm sitting there with a clogged ear, for the first time in a while, prospectively, I looked at everybody and I went, wow, even if I know somebody, I don't know what's going on with their bodies. I don't know what they're dealing with at this time. Maybe somebody else is dealing with an ear infection right now, or maybe somebody else is dealing with a knee pain, or maybe somebody else is dealing with something else that I can't even fathom right now, And nobody knows what you're going through. It's your pain and your pain alone. You know what you need to work through. So I'm just going to end it there. I know this is a long-winded video for maybe something different that not a lot of people talk about, but I want people, I've dealt with a lot in my life with these like kind of weird situations where my ear's hurting, or I have cyst pain, or if I have something weird going on with my body, and I just want people to feel okay, to know that they can go to somebody and not feel embarrassed or ashamed or anything like that. So as always, my name is James Joseph Edward Jesperger Jr., but please call me Jimmy for short, and I'll always see you guys in the next one. Peace.